Welcome to the Magic Tavern. What do you bring to the table?
Hey guys, welcome back to the Magic Tavern podcast. I am Steps and joined, as always, the lovely BDC.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Back to that again.
Yep, right back to it.
Yeah, I got to stop that.
Oh, so how is your Kaldheim pre-release, release week, whatever you want to call it? How's that been?
Oh my God, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it really is.
I've been brewing. Basically, what I've been trying to do is I get on, I see what the challenge is, try to pick a color scheme that's the challenge, and try to build something. But I've gravitated so heavily to Orvar, the all form, man.
Oh yeah, the shapeshifters in this set are ridiculous.
And the others are good, but they're nothing. I mean, you don't even need any of those besides Orvar. Orvar just runs the show. And any tribal, pick a tribal, any tribal. Mm-hmm. It'll be harder to play him in Commander, I'm sure, because he, 1 in 100 kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can't play him as the Commander because then it's all blue.
Yeah, it's all blue.
You want to play. I've got a stack of shapeshifter cards that I've been collecting before I even knew they were doing shapeshifters from Kaldheim. Mm-hmm. So I'm ready. I'm hoping to look forward to that. But the problem is making Orvar work in a big old deck. But standard, man, you can do so many janky things with him.
Yeah, I haven't gotten as many packs on Arena as you have, but I've been playing with it. I've been using Finn the Fang Bearer a lot.
You dirty bastard.
Oh, come on. You got to love those poison counters. As long as you're the one wielding them, everybody else hates them.
Yeah, it's like the Ugin,
It's like I put Vorinclex in the deck because the whole doubling counters thing.
Absolutely.
But I think I've only ever got him out once when it mattered. They kill you so fast. Because all it takes is he gives you 2 poison counters every time something with Death Touch hits. If you didn't, I'll just read the card. He's
Go ahead.
Finn the Fang Bearer. He's 1 in a green, legendary creature, human warrior. He has Death Touch, and whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. So, you just stack the deck full of Death Touch creatures, and you go to town. And a lot of people, because you're in black as well, I guess I should have said that. My deck is Golgari, because a lot of the Death Touch is in black.
But makes sense.
You got so many cards like Eliminate, Heartless Act, Murder. You kill everything they've got. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little easier at first than it probably should have been, because there's a lot of people that seems they don't understand how it works just yet.
Yeah,
because they just let me hit them when they definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, same. A lot of the Kaldheim cards. I'm trying to think that Orvar is one of them. They don't understand how it works. Like Toski.
Yeah,
that they don't understand. They attack it. They try to murder it. Try to blow it up, and it's like, come on, what do you not understand about indestructible? It's a simple thing, but yeah, it's hard to get used to some of these cards, especially when you pull poison counters in like that.
Yeah, the Vorinclex setup is cool because of the double counter thing, but like I said, by the time he comes out, he's a 6-drop, and by the time he comes out, it's usually already done.
Yeah,
but he's a good haymaker if things aren't going the way it's supposed to go.
Well, it's just crazy
with haste and trample.
It's just crazy that Finn is a 2-drop.
Yeah,
and an uncommon.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And it not really breaks the meta. I won't say that, but it affects the meta so hard.
Yeah, it's something that people aren't used to paying attention to. If you haven't played Magic since Moradin,
pretty much,
there hasn't been that much poison, especially in Standard. So I've had way too many people that are like, yeah, go ahead, I'll let your 2 little 1/1s hit me. And it's like, no, you shouldn't do that. I know it's going to kill your creature, but now you've got 4 poison counters, and all I got to do is hit you 3 more times, and it's game.
Yeah, this point of order, we're both learning some of the old school even now. Did the old Phyrexians have poison counters and whatnot?
Some of them did, not a ton of them.
It wasn't indicative of them. It was just something that some of them had. Okay.
Yeah. Even Vorinclex, this one doesn't have anything to do with poison counters besides the fact that he ups how many counters, which honestly, in Vorinclex's Vorthos, if you will, the whole reason that that's a flavor win on his card is his swarm. So the +1 counters and stuff like that would be a little more indicative than the poison, I would. But, poison works.
Yeah. Especially like you said, since so many are so unused to it that they die to it and not even knowing how they
Yeah.
died.
Yeah. I think this deck is fun and it's good, but I think as people get used to it, it's not going to be as potent. I use a lot of Call of the Death Dweller to bring stuff
Hmm.
back out of my graveyard time and time again. I've got
Yep.
Varagoth, the Blood Sky Sire, so that I can go tutor for something that I need. Like if they've gotten rid of my Finn, I need another one. Or
Mhm.
Vorinclex towards the end, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so weak to removal.
Yes.
You
Yes.
although it takes more than a shock to kill it, it's still
It
not
ta
that hard.
it takes more than a shock to kill Finn, but everything else that does damage. I mean, what? I've got Foulmare Knight, that's a 1/1. Moss Viper is a 1/1. The
Mm.
Tanjiro Blightblade's a 1/1.
Yeah,
The Grim, my favorite is the Grim Dancer. Okay,
yeah,
you put him in there and you get him Menace and Death Touch, and then he's just hard to stop.
yeah, exactly.
And especially at a 3/3, you need a little more than a shock to take him down. No, he works really well. I've been playing around with putting a little bit of white in it, which I'm probably gonna take out because then you could do Nethroy or
Hmm.
the Luminous Brood Moth, bringing everything back, but with flying. So now they're Death Touch flying creatures. It's even harder to stop.
Wow.
But it's just
Yeah,
a lot of that stuff is the same as Vorinclex, though. It takes so long to ramp up to that by the time you get it out, it doesn't matter.
true.
It's almost got to be an aggro deck where you're hitting as hard and as fast as you can.
Speaking of aggro, you've been kind of bragging about that mono red. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure, sure. I uh I named it the Red Terror,
Okay.
and it's pretty much good red card dot deck. Like it's we got everything from the Akum Hellhound, who's the 0/1 with landfall.
I see a lot of that.
Every time a land enters, he becomes a 2/3.
Yeah, very familiar. Very familiar. I see it a lot.
There's some cards I could put in there to ramp him up, but I haven't seen a need to do it really. He's just a fast 1 drop.
Yeah, of
Fervent Champion, of course.
course.
The lovely. I got the Fireblade Charger. He has haste as long as he's equipped, which doesn't matter in the early game, but in the late game, if I've already got the Embercleave down, you know,
Mm,
I can
mm.
throw it on him and give him haste.
No.
I,
Surprise.
yeah, lots of Infuriates, Shock,
Oh, I love Infuriate.
Robber of the Rich. Nothing irritates people more than me playing their own cards against them.
Yeah.
Royal Eruption is like my favorite removal card right now. It's 1 in a red. It deals 3 damage to any target. It has a 5 kicker though, and if you do that, it does 5 damage instead.
Yeah, I've seen that card a lot more lately too.
But it's the fact that it does it to any target, so I can hit
Yeah.
you with it, and I
Yep.
have killed people taking them out with either the kicker version or the regular one because they're like, oh well, I'll take that because then you can't do it next turn. It's like, well, too late.
Yeah.
Bone Crusher Giant, Annex the
Oh.
Hardened, or Hardened in the Forge. Like
Mhm.
he's fantastic for aggro decks because you kill my creatures, it just keeps bringing out 1/1 satyrs. I got a few
Absolutely.
Phoenix of Ash in here, just for some flying. Of course, Torbrin, the Embercleave.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I have the Shatter Skull Smashing, which is the mythic dual-sided one's a land.
Mhm.
I may take him out. I don't know. Because the other side does it's X red, and it deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, it deals twice X damage divided as you choose. But the deck's so fast that usually they don't have that many creatures, but you put it in there for, the odd case where they bring out a huge haymaker.
Yeah. Sounds a little fast for this, but Fiery Emancipation maybe.
Yeah, see, the only reason I didn't put it in there is it does cost so much. And
Yeah. It takes a while.
by the time I get up to that much mana, it's usually Embercleave or Torbrin or something like that.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's the go-tos, and it makes sense. It really does.
But I went from bronze. Well, that's not true. I got to silver with my Death Touch poison deck,
Mm-hmm.
and I've gotten to silver 1 now with the red deck. I keep playing with it. We'll see. I need to tune up my my cleric veto deck and see what I can do.
Absolutely. It was something, I guess, because I was looking doing that article on the zombies and
Mhm.
realized that there are at least a couple, if not more, zombie clerics in that. And I wonder if they would be
Yeah, no, there's the one that I really want, but I don't have any rare wild cards, and I can't make them. Let me see what his name was. I've made a black blue
The Necromancer, I think.
snow zombie deck. Yeah, he's a necromancer, the one that we're talking about.
The Draugr Necromancer.
Yeah, yep, that's him.
Definitely.
He's amazing. He's the one I want in that deck. Where's he at? There he is. Oh, if a non-token creature.
Yeah, a lot of great zombies. I think Zombie Tribal has a really good. In fact, I can go ahead and publish that article now.
Yeah,
I haven't even popped it on there yet. But what to talk about? Let's talk about the zombies first. I mean, you're talking about the Draugr Necromancer, which reminds me a lot of Athreos Shroudveiled.
yeah. Start
in
putting
that
tokens on stuff.
The only difference is this sucker, the Necromancer, everything your opponent loses to the graveyard doesn't go to the graveyard.
Yeah. Does it exile it?
Yes, it does. It puts an ice counter on it, so you can play those cards from exile. But the big thing is they can't. I mean, some of these guys that have escape or whatnot are gone. I mean, yeah, you bring on your Elder Giant, whatever his name is, Croxus.
Oh yeah, Croxus.
Or I can never pronounce this one. Perophilos, the big
Yeah.
Hydra thing.
Polokronos.
Thank you. Yeah, bring it on, because once it's dead, you bring it out, it dies. It's mine.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, the only problem, you wouldn't want to play it, because once you play it, it dies and goes back to the graveyard. That would probably be a little, but everything else is yours to use. And I think, oh, that's such a great mechanic, and so stylish. A lot of Game of Thrones Night King going on here. Everything that dies just adds to the army.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
My favorite is the Priest of the Haunted Edge.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's just the look of the card. I don't know, but he looks so cool, and that's why I ended up using it for the thumbnail on the article you're talking about posting right now.
Oh, that's fair. He's great removal.
Yeah.
Once again, it's connected to land destruction and lands, which isn't land destruction, but number lands destruction, and it's a wonderful thing because it's a removal that doesn't have limits on it.
I've been trying to work on a Dimir zombie snow deck because I've been using Narfi, the Betrayer King.
That's what
he's a lot of fun. I almost want to build a commander deck around him just because I think it would be fun.
Oh yeah, you're the big zombie guy in our group.
Although I probably need to put him in. I could put him in the Scarab God deck because it's already Dimir, and then he'd just give all the zombies.
Well, that's what my zombie deck is. It has to be blue because Orvar's in there, making zombies left and right.
Oh yeah.
That card coupled with Mystic Reflection.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the wrong card.
No, it's not.
There's an enchantment.
Yeah.
I'm missing something.
No. It's Mystic Reflection.
There's an enchantment that makes you name a creature type, and every time you play that creature, it pops up a copy.
I know the one you're talking about. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. It's right here.
Sounds like something I need to look at because I know I've got it in that deck.
There for a minute, I thought you were talking about called Reflections of Littjara.
There it is.
Yeah,
that needs to be in there too. I need to amend that article because that and Orvar are the combination, because you got both of those out making copies of everything but the legendaries, of course.
Yeah,
and to get Orvar going, all you got to do is target your own creatures. Target it with. I wonder if you. You tried to play your own creature card and you target it with Tybalt, if it would make a copy if Orvar was out. It's not in play, so it wouldn't work. So sorry, I couldn't add to the insane jank of this week. That's why we're not talking about it much.
Yeah,
it's like everybody else. That's fine.
Yeah, Tybalt's trickery has been. I saw it a lot those first few days, and I haven't seen it since.
I haven't seen it at all.
It's not that weird. It's not that it doesn't work. It does work.
Oh, it does.
It's just, I don't know.
It's just
there's so many other fun decks.
Oh yeah, Lord. you can do zombies by themselves. I added Falmire Knight, Murderous Rider, and Gary. And you don't even need Orvar, but Orvar just in that enchantment just makes it worse.
I wish Murderous Rider had Death Touch.
Yes, don't you though? There are cards.
There's ones that I can use to give him Death Touch, but he has Lifelink of all things.
I know. That can come in kind of helpful. You know how I am about Lifelink.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Like there's the Black Rune I've thought about using. It's what was it called? The Rune of Mortality will give anything Death Touch, which I've thought about putting in there because Vortenklex himself doesn't have Death Touch.
There you go. Doesn't work with Orvar because it's an enchantment, right?
Yeah, it's an enchantment.
But Lash of Thorns would work. Alchemist's Gift. Those are the two I have in that deck, and I think it's the only ones that give Death Touch that I found.
Can you not? You can't enchant Orvar?
Why? If you enchant Orvar, it tries to copy Orvar, and you only end up with one.
Oh, I got you. Because
it's legendary.
He copies anything you trigger. I've got it. Exactly. Or anything you target. Got it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And then the only other legendary I have is Narfi. So Narfi and Orvar are out of the question, but everything else is free game. But the zombies by themselves, I think, really up the ante on that tribal. Orvar and all those other cards we've been talking about, just up the ante on every tribal.
I think I want to do a demon tribal deck. There's enough of them now. You got the Demon's Disciple, who is the most annoying card. I swear. I see him so much now. When he enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature, a planeswalker.
Yes, I have met him.
And I hate it. That's not the one I was thinking of, though. I was thinking of the one that makes me discard a card every time they drop it. And I hate it.
I don't mind them making me discard a card. I think the one thing I hate more than anything is when they get their little hands in my deck and start picking cards to throw. But that's just me. I don't think anybody likes that. But
no, definitely not. I think I'm going to do a Rakdos demon deck. That'd be fun.
That does sound like fun.
Lots of demons into just damage cards. burn everything.
Yeah, burn it all. Now, I started everything with Magda because we've been talking about dwarfs.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the very beginning, Magda was the talk. I've seen a few decks with her, and I've built a deck with her in several different renditions. One thing I didn't expect to do was try to build a Izzet deck with Magda. It's a little
is it? Like
blue-red, yes.
Yeah. No, I was just making... Wow.
Can you guess why?
Let's see. Orvar?
Yeah, it's simple. Everything's Orvar now. It's still iffy.
Have you thought about putting that Maskwood Nexus in there and putting any card you want? Then they're all dwarfs.
Well, we talked about cards we don't have.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
That's one of the top 5 that I don't have. I need to. You try not to put any money into it, but you're like, man, there's like 5 or 6 cards I could really use right now if I could get some mythics or even some gold. I have wiped out.
Yeah, I finally got up to 10,000 gold again because I want to do a draft, but I think I'm going to do it on stream or at least for a video for the YouTube. Like everybody at least get a good laugh at how bad I suck at it.
Well, I thought about doing. We've talked about it, and I think we need to nail it down for Thursday and do Arena. I could be on with you. You could do that, and then we could play some Arena, show off some decks or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely need to get a for sure schedule down with Arena. It's a lot of fun. I haven't played Arena in a while, and with Kaldheim I jumped back into it, and it's been a lot of fun. They've done a good job with the set.
Yeah, here's to you, Watsy.
Yeah, no, I like it. Is there anything that you don't like with Kaldheim?
I've been so busy doing what I do like. Of course, Finn bugs me, but that's okay.
Yeah, there's always got to be that one card.
Man. Oh, well, I haven't seen a lot of Coma, but I have a feeling as time goes on, Coma is going to become an irritant.
Yeah, he's in limited. Like, speaking of draft, if you pull Coma, I don't know how you beat him. If they get Coma on the field, it's just so much for a limited deck to be able to overcome.
Yeah. It took me a minute to figure out what they were talking about. One of the posts this week said something about it was the new Foot.
Hmm.
I forgot what the name of the card was. Dang it! And it's one of my favorite Sphinxes, the one you hate so much.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about.
yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember his name.
Oh wow. Anyway,
The only
go ahead.
But yeah, no, he's a bomb. Like if you see him in a pack, he's the one you take.
The Dawn Trawler.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Dream Trawler.
Dream Trawler. There we go. I'm sorry.
God, I hate that card. Yeah, and he was the same way in Limited. Like, how do you beat something that can't be killed, or in Coma's case, can't be killed and keeps creating more?
You got to get it fast. If you don't get it fast, it's over. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if he gets a turn off with it, it's man. If you haven't watched the latest Game Nights, go watch that. That'll show you how strong that sucker is.
I was going to say, all the people that watch that are out there wanting to build a Coma deck now. I'll guarantee you.
No, I wish I had one.
I love you guys, but you're feeding the problem. No, I'm just kidding.
What's funny is they feed prices too. I don't know if you've ever paid attention to it. I don't know what the term is for it. I'm sure I call it the game night spike. Like when a card does really well on game nights, the price of it spikes. Like I'm sure Coma spiked because of it. I got caught in that trap when I first came back to Magic because Josh had played the Athreos deck on stream, and I wanted that Athreos so bad, and I went and paid $20 for one. And I was looking at the other day, and I think he's like $4 now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that hurts, but it is what it is.
It absolutely is. Yeah, that was a great game nights, and as almost the most one-sided game nights. Usually, you see a deck, do well and get taken out, and then the second best one comes around and finishes it.
Yeah.
In this situation, it was one deck got on top and just sat there.
I almost stopped watching it, going, "There's no way that anybody can overcome this." I was like, "No, let's see it through the end. Let's see what happens."
Absolutely, it's you want to watch because you think you want to see what takes this down because that's going to be pretty powerful, and it never came.
Yeah, no, it was insane. It was a good game though.
It was a great game, yes, absolutely.
Oh,
but there are a lot of great cards to play. The Giants deck I built right at the beginning was good. Do that with Auravar and the Giants Fury, Fire Giants Fury.
Yeah,
man, if you do damage with that, for every damage you get, you don't draw a card. It puts them kind of in exile, and you've got till the end of next turn to play them. I did not totally understand that, and so I did like 8 damage. With two of those, I used 2 of those cards, Fire Giants Fury, to do 8 damage because excess damage. You got to do excess damage, and so I ended up with 16 cards that come out of nowhere. It freaked me out, man. So be careful what you do with that card.
So yeah, you draw yourself out there. Don't deck yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I have no problem with that.
So what do you think? Yeah, that's fair. What do you think about the new mechanic, Foretell?
It's handy. It's all about. It's like why they do the dual modal cards. They are trying to give us options, and I love some of the cards like the Truffle Snout and cards that give you 2 or 3 options.
Yeah.
On the card, I love that, and they're doing more and more of that. And this is just the same kind of thing. It's like, well, if you're stuck on 2 mana and you don't have anything else to play, you can foretell this and get it down the line. And sometimes it's very worth it. Sometimes it's the same. Sometimes it's a little more expensive. But it's a great way of using cards when you're stuck.
Yeah, the more you can use your mana, the more you'll win. the better you'll do, at least. Yeah, if you're using your mana to the fullest, it's just better off that way. So I like the Foretell.
I really hate leaving mana. I don't know, and I have to work on this and I have been working on it. I don't make a good blue player because I want to spend all my mana, but part of that is waiting till their turn too. I understand that now, but I hate leaving mana hanging, period, and losing it. Nobody likes that. Yeah. And so this gives you an opportunity to use that in a way. It's like those dual modal gods. If you don't have enough to put Tybalt out, you can bring the other god, the god of lies.
Yeah, Falky.
Falky, yes, thank you.
Speaking of gods, the most annoying card that I've found so far from Kaldheim is, what is her name? It's Tingrid.
Yeah, I haven't faced it yet.
Is that
I think
her
I've
name?
got one. Yeah, the god of death.
No.
Of fear, god of fear.
Yeah.
The one with the lantern.
Yes, the lantern is the part that annoys me.
Yeah, I can't.
It's so good. It's ridiculous how good it is.
I remember reading it over and thinking that, and I haven't thought about it since, but I really want to jank with it a little bit.
Man, when you first play against it, they play it, you're like, okay, that's not too bad. And then they just abuse it. And because what it does, all right, is you can tap it. And if you tap it, target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. And you can pay 3 and a black and untap it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't even have to do that. Just doing that to you once a turn is brutal. And you get to the point where you've got nothing left in hand and you've got nothing to sacrifice. You're just losing 3 life and there's nothing you can do about it.
And it's bleeding out, basically.
It's brutal. And because it's an artifact, you've got to have specific removal to get rid of it. And it's anytime that card hits the field, I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, that's the cards everybody looks for. I guess cards I look for is the ones that you hate to see come out at all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough to go, I need to get to that quick and do this because I know you can do this. But when a card like Ugin or something comes out and you're going, oh man, I'm up against it now. It could be over.
Yeah. Oh, and that card I was trying to think of earlier that I hate to see hit the battlefield is the Elder Fang Disciple. It's 1 and a black, and when it hits the battlefield, when it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. And then they play like 3 of them, and I'm like, God dang it!
I've got those resources.
I've got no hand left. It's hard to win when I don't have a hand.
Exactly. Sounds like Karate Kid. I think it was the second or third movie. They can't fight if they can't see, or they can't play if they don't have cards or permanents, or it sounds like a Ugin thing or a Nicol Bolas thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You can't play if you don't have anything.
Yeah. It's your turn. Too bad you don't have anything. And I played a guy yesterday that had a deck that just took all my lands away.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was playing mono red and didn't have enough mana. Like, how does that happen? I only need like 1.
It's basically one of those that takes away permanence. That when it's done taking, maybe it's Ugin. No, it's not. If you're out of enchantments or artifacts or creatures, then your lands start going away. Maybe it's Nicol Bolas. I can't remember, but I remember just being down to lands, going, I'm okay. I got this to play next time. Oh wait, you don't have enough land now to play it.
Yeah, you can't do anything. Is it Nicol Bolas? I'm looking it up.
I'm sorry.
When Nicol Bolas, the Ravager, enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Yeah, he makes you discard a card, but
I don't remember. I'm bringing it up now. It's inconsequential. I don't see it anymore. It's out of standard. So
yeah.
Just thinking of historic. I haven't even touched historic. I'm sure it's crazy in there right now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure historic's an absolute nightmare.
Not like it's not like it's sane before, right? It's like it's a not to scare anybody. Yeah, not to scare anybody, but you put your foot in there. Don't feel bad if you get obliterated, okay? Because some of these, basically, it's the playground for those guys who've been playing for years that understand some of the old cards so well that they can take Kaldheim and then jank it up a notch.
Yeah, see, I want to build a brawl deck. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Taking a brawl, Jesse, we just dropped that Toski brawl by Jesse. Sorry,
yeah.
Panda. Yeah. That can be, and I've been janking with Toski too because it's just too much fun.
Yeah, I'm looking through it right now. Actually, I had Arena up when we started this call, and I left it up so I could look up cards and read them. But it's like there's so many legendary creatures. What if I used Finn the Fangbearer? But no, because then everything would have to be green, and there's not enough Death Touch.
Yeah, that's the trick of Commander or Brawl. You know, I think you're out again.
No, I'm still here.
Oh wow, sound like you just stopped.
No, I went and found the the key binding that kept muting me, and I got rid of it. So
So I
no,
found the key and I popped that sucker off.
yeah, I just took the whole key off the keyboard. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it'll never happen again.
Too bad Winona's banned, or I'd use her. Winona.
Yeah, I
She
don't know if
paid for
Winona
the
would.
sins of the Agent of Treachery.
Yeah, I mean, there's some humans that came out, but it's not really heavy on humans this time. But it doesn't matter. There's plenty of other humans, right?
Oh yeah. But anyway, trying to think of anything else with Kaldheim before we moved on. You got anything else?
Just the tribals everywhere. Giants and dwarfs and zombies came back really hard. And
I think that's a good flavor win for them with Kaldheim, though, because that's what it should have been. The Vikings, the whole Nordic mythology, the tribes. You know, it works really well.
And the whole storyline, just real subtle about it, because if you haven't read any of it, I'm about to spoil things. Everybody knows Vorinclex is back, but Vorinclex is after the sap of the World Tree, which basically could probably make the Phyrexians immortal.
Yeah, that'd be like the last thing they'd need.
Yeah.
True.
But perfection. I think we're gonna just for a touch of Vorthos here. They're sounds like they're maybe back in everything, but maybe Forgotten Realms. Maybe looking for one thing from each. Somebody suggested this, and it makes sense. Yeah, looking for one thing that can make them more than they are, perfection, as Elish Norn would put it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, because it seems like Elish Norn at the head of everything. We'll have an article with some speculation on that coming out soon too. But
yeah,
if you've got all of the Praetors together and working together, it's dangerous. Like, who do you get to stop that? You don't have Ugin. You don't have Urza anymore. I mean, I guess you go get Karn. Maybe he'd help you out. I don't know.
Possibly. You're going to need an influx of new, very powerful planeswalkers. They have to bring in fresh blood. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And Tyvar Kell is probably one of my favorite story-wise. It's the way he comes about. He reminds me of and basically is their Thor.
Yeah.
He's happy-go-lucky. Yeah.
You've got him and Basari Ket that they did in M21, which he's really interesting. He could be your new Gideon if you really played it right. And Nico's interesting. I haven't done a lot of looking into the Vorthos.
Yeah, it's good to see new.
I know they're from Theros, but that's about all I know about them.
Yeah, interesting. Kind of in the story, but kind of not.
Mm-hmm.
They came in at the end of the story, and I read the one chapter that was just them. I'm not sure. You know, what's great is not only you had Kaya and Tybalt, but you had two very distinctly different planeswalkers that weren't like a lot of the other planeswalkers we had. So you keep adding to the number, and it's all about relatability and finding characters you like. Play style is very important. Mm-hmm. So I need to look at. I don't have a Nico in my repertoire, so I have to look and see if I can. Once I get some of those cards, so maybe I can find out how mechanically it works. But I haven't played it a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen it much. I got a feeling it'd be one of those cards that ends up being more powerful later, like with other cards that help it out. I know it does the shard tokens, which is interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And Tyvar is a character with his mutability type, transmutation type powers, which they explain pretty well. It's pretty interesting how they went through that. Mm-hmm. You need to go read that especially that last one. I think they talked more about how it made sense, his powers with elves being connected to the world around them, especially.
Yeah.
He's just a fun character because at one point, Kaya says Tybalt did something in her head, just got in her head and got her doubting. And he couldn't do that to Tyvar. And she was like, why is he not affected? And she realized he's too young, naive, or dumb to be afraid.
Yeah, it
So
sounds like
Tibble couldn't,
Thor.
Tibble couldn't get in his head. He couldn't make him scared of him or find a fear to play with.
Hmm.
I think it's a great storyline, and I look forward. Strixhaven could bring some really great planeswalkers, so I'm looking forward to that. And of
Yeah.
course, we'll get to the discussion some other time about planeswalkers and Forgotten Realms. But
Yeah. And Strixhaven would be interesting. I mean, the speculation isn't far away. I'm just trying to enjoy Kaldheim for a little
yeah,
bit.
it's like you don't want to let it go. There's so much
Yeah,
good things out of Kaldheim,
it is.
and
It's my favorite set to play since Ikoria. Ikoria was a lot of fun for me. I
yeah,
really, really enjoyed the set and the mutate. I liked it all. Like I played so much Ikoria on Arena, whether it was draft or constructed. I just loved it. And then everyone since then, not that they've been like failures or they weren't fun, it wasn't as much fun as that. And this one feels a lot like Ikoria to me. It's just a lot of fun to play.
the good news is we still see mutate creatures coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a few here and there. I think Fortell will stick around too. I think it's here to stay. It's a
Mhm.
good mechanic. It's easy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
hopefully we get more mutate, maybe another plane where it works.
Or bring
I
us
don't know.
back to Ikoria and explain what the hell's going on. How about that?
Yeah, maybe give us an actual story
I
that
know.
makes sense.
It's like they glossed over it or something, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. But yeah, we've got plenty of videos and articles coming over covering standard. I'm not gonna lie, if you want anything covering draft in a serious way, this may not be the spot for you.
Yeah,
But
we like to play limited, but we're not masters at it or anything.
no. I listen to limited resources a lot when I want to know what to do and how to do it right. Those guys are
Mhm.
Marshall and LSV are hard to beat when it comes to advice on how to play limited.
There you go. We all have our wheelhouses.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, unless you've got anything else, I think we'll move on.
Hey, no problem. Yeah. Heard that I haven't heard anything substantial. Something in March, a new book or set of books or something from D&D.
Hmm.
I haven't heard anything concrete. Some say Dragonlance novels.
Yeah,
Maybe.
there's definitely novels coming. I remember them talking about that. But if I remember right, I'm looking it up right now. On Amazon, there is a D&D book that is set up for pre-order that is like you can't. It doesn't actually show you what it is.
Yes, mystery book.
Yeah, pretty much. D&D's obviously got to have something coming out soon,
Oh, Lord,
which
yes.
hey, not a sponsor at all, but if you're interested, Tasha's Cauldron for Everything is on
Mm,
sale for $30.
definitely worth it. It's got lots of little tidbits in it.
Hmm.
In fact, I need to get back to it.
It's the
Um,
most useful book that's ever been that heavily criticized in a long time.
yeah, everybody's so worried about the whole race thing. I think it got a paragraph.
I say people whine so hard about, oh, well, this and that about the race and how you could get rid of negative penalties for these races, and it's literally a paragraph. Like
Yeah,
it's one little section, an entire book full of amazing, useful things. Oh,
and
don't get
it's
me
like
started again.
yeah, it's like everything else with 5e. They don't overcomplicate things. They give you the resources. They walk away, and they give you options. It's all about giving options. Me and Panda were talking about this morning. It's part of the rant that I'm working on right now is basically about what D&D actually is and who owns it and why 5e is perfect for the time. No matter if you're an old schooler who wants Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms, old school 3e or whatnot, or if you just want to play and be kind of loose with it, and you can have as many rules or as little rules as you want. It's all the DM.
There's
I mean, it's always
so many things you can do in D&D, and people nitpick all the things that nobody's forcing them to do. It's like
yeah.
just
They
play
they
your
they.
game and be quiet.
I hear even from pandas sometimes saying prestige classes, and I'm like, there's nothing you can't do in 5e that you can only do
Yeah.
in prestige classes or something. You can make
Yeah.
it takes a little work. Sure, they're not handing it to you on a silver platter, but they give those options to the DM,
Uh-huh.
and you might have to do a little more work. But is it worth it? Do you really want to do this prestige class? It's your own world, your own special something. Nobody else is maybe nobody else is doing it. It's worth the work.
Yeah. And okay, so I found the book that's coming out. It's been announced.
Really?
Yes. It is The Candlekeep Mysteries.
Oh yeah.
It's a let's see, it's an
Oh,
anthology
oh, oh.
of 17 mystery-themed adventures for the
Yes,
world's
it's not.
greatest role-playing game.
It's the exact. That's right. I'm sorry, I did hear about this. It's the exact opposite of all their other adventure books. Instead of 1 to 20, everything's encased here. It's just a bunch of random
Yeah.
adventures,
Let's
giving you
see.
options.
Candlekeep Mysteries is a collection of 17 short standalone D&D adventures designed for characters between the levels of 1st and 16th. Each
you
adventure
go.
begins with the discovery of a book, and in each book is a key to a door behind which danger and glory await.
Danger and glory.
It sounds pretty cool. It comes out on the 16th of March.
Well,
And
I'm ready.
There's an alternate cover that looks amazing.
Always. I
But
think
yeah.
most of their alternate covers are at least interesting, if not unbelievably, like Theros.
Theros book, man. Oh, that was beautiful.
Wow.
Icewind Dale was the same way.
Mhm.
Like, I wish I would have gotten the alternate cover, but I didn't.
It's got that runic look like the
Mhm.
D&D cards do, the showcase,
Yeah,
which is interesting, right?
very, very much so. Everything's tied together, especially when it's all from the same company.
This is like Watsy's getting it, both in D&D and Magic. Everyone was afraid when they saw Kaya on the box, and a lot of people were, wasn't sure where it was going to go. Where's my Vikings at? Well, you look at
Yeah.
your set now.
Yeah, no,
it's
perfect.
very, even the story with Kaya is very Viking, very visceral, axes out, ready to fight.
I didn't understand when people were worried about Kaya being there. It's like, what's more visceral and action-packed than an assassin showing up to kill something? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
she's bringing the heat. Like, it's
Absolutely.
Watsy's gotten better with their representation is getting better, and that's making a lot of people happy and uneasy at the same time, which I don't really understand the people that are worried. But they've not only gotten better with that, but they've gotten better at making stories in general. It seems like the way they're making everything fit together. I think D&D especially is. I don't know. It's been really good lately. Like the Icewind Dale book, I don't buy a lot of their pre-made adventures. Most of D&D
Mhm.
stuff we do is homebrewed.
Yes.
We steal from a little bit of everything, but Icewind Dale is a really good story. I don't know.
Yes, definitely interesting. More interesting than all the others, mainly because I've been studying a lot about Arl, who factors uh, a bit in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I won't spoil anything for it, but it did get my attention. Looks really interesting. The Theros set was marvelous, not an adventure, but it was a great source book for a new world, and I hope they do it for Kaldheim.
Yeah. No, I think they need to do more of those source books. You're talking about like the Theros one, right? Where they did it for the whole
Yes.
world. Yeah. Definitely.
Yes.
We need one for Kaldheim, Zendikar, all of them. I think the only realm that I wouldn't be excited to see is Innistrad, and that's just because we already have Ravenloft, and
Yeah.
I know that they're very different places, and it would still be interesting. Don't get me wrong; I would still probably buy it, but I think that one should be last.
Yeah, should wait a while because the whole return to Strahd and everything's been strong in the last few years. So
Yeah.
it would look like the same thing, even though it wouldn't be.
Yeah, Strahd versus Edgar.
Yeah,
Or Soren.
that'd be a great cover. Oh my god.
Soren would eat Strahd for breakfast.
Yeah, I figured you'd say that.
Ain't no mystery here, buddy. We're just gonna eat you. But yeah, no, it's good.
In fact, I've been so busy brewing, I haven't done a lot of D&D articles lately. But one of the things that hit me was, like when I did that playing D&D and Zendikar article and did the subclass with Akiri. that there was a lot to do here. You know, there's Theros is cool. That was a great book. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when it comes to locations, it was kind of
Yeah.
it wasn't a lot of separation in it. But then you have Kaldheim with all of these realms and all these different creatures to play, and the whole interaction between them, and then the gods and the world, the tree, and it's just it's the whole Norse mythology thing. They did it great. They did a great job.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be it'd be an interesting book to get a hold of. I think we should look and do some of the stuff we did for Zendikar with Kaldheim, because there's a lot there that you could do.
That's the only problem. You look at it, and it's so much.
Yeah.
Compared to even Zendikar, there's some, I kind of did a generic article on that, but there's so much you could touch upon.
Yeah.
I'll send a link about that this afternoon. That'd probably be the best thing to do right now, because Zendikar is still, getting attention everywhere. Everyone's loving it. I would be so up for DMing an adventure in Kaldheim somewhere.
Mm-hmm. No,
it'd be amazing.
You could use a lot of the stuff from Icewind Dale in it, and it would fit in absolutely perfectly.
Absolutely. It's hard to top Tybalt and the Phyrexian, but I'd try. I would try.
Yeah,
I wish I could do it.
They pulled out all the stops for this one. Tybalt, and then to see Vorinclex was real. It's like, oh no. But they're going to play the long haul, though. They're going to set up the big bad for a long time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. They're not in any rush. They don't rush things. They actually tell the story. And one thing that I wanted to say about story with WotC and Magic, they had trouble for a while putting a lot of these stories out because of representation, and some countries that don't like that.
Yeah.
They don't like, I'll just say they don't like certain representations of people, and it would shut them down in those countries, and they don't want that. And I understand that. But what they did was they set up and I read this a couple months ago before Kaldheim came out. What they did was they separated to the point that some stories don't come out in those countries. Like Nico's story, I guarantee you, didn't come out in like China.
No, definitely not.
No. But that's smart. I give it to them. I don't think that's a weak maneuver at all. I think it's very strong. They want to keep growing in these markets. But they want to keep telling the story. They don't want to be nailed down by one country. China's kind of hard to get around because it's so big. It's so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, they've changed movies and Marvel. I won't even get into that, Marvel stories. But the point is, the point is they now are able to tell whatever story they want. It's very regional is what I was trying to get at. So what you see here, I guarantee you some of those stories are not playing in some countries like China and whatnot.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see because I'm sure Nico is still in the product there. They just leave out the story, which I'm with you. There has to be a middle ground there somewhere. Is it perfect? No, but at least they're not letting, like you said, one country or one set of beliefs dictate what story they're willing to tell, and where they have in the future, they absolutely have.
They just decide they're going to tell the story.
Yeah,
and not worry about it, and that they control where it goes and keep it where they can tell the story. Unlike if you go back to the Doctor Strange movie, they can't say that the ancient one's a Tibetan because China doesn't believe in Tibet. But anyway,
there's video games that have completely made up countries because it was supposed to be Thailand and it can't be, or it can't be sold in China.
Yeah,
like a lot of sports games, international sports games, don't have Taiwan because of that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, and I both understand it and it angers me. But at least this way, they go ahead, they tell their story the way they want to tell it. They create their characters the way they want to create them. They just don't ask for China's permission to do it in America.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it should be. I mean, if they want to censor something out of the story, let them do it. But that shouldn't change how we write the story.
Now, what we need to watch, and hopefully it doesn't, go this way. China could totally go, we see what you're doing, and we're going to punish you for it. I don't think it's going to happen, but that could happen. So they're playing a little bit of a dangerous game, but they're playing it very smart.
Yeah, I think at that point, you would have to call China's bluff. Like you can't back down from them. The ethics of not backing down from them, and B, the backlash that you would get from everywhere else would be ginormous.
That explains a lot of why the stories have been so blah. They haven't created. I mean, Boss Riquette came out, but that's and that one guy in Ikoria that we really don't know anything about, really.
Yeah. No,
because they were afraid
Luca.
Because everything went to China, so they were afraid to put anything in there or put things online, and now they're able to regionalize it, and now they can do whatever the hell they want. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, we've been going for about an hour now, so I figure we wanted to do a away from the table segment, which is where we talk about anything that's not tabletop games that we're normally talking about.
Anything can happen.
There's only one thing it can be this week. It has to be WandaVision.
Oh my God.
This show is insane. Like one the first things I heard about it was that it was kind of boring. They were playing off the old TV shows, and I was like, well, that sounds interesting enough to me. Like if that's all this is, I'll sit and watch it. Like I want to see the madness. And we sat and watched all of them that were available, which was 4 until yesterday or Friday.
Friday, yeah.
And watched all those, and they were great. And then, man, they really ramped up in 4 and 5. Like they did not play around.
Well, it's like after the first 3 episodes, I kind of chuckled to myself because everybody's like, "Oh, this sucks. It's boring. What's going on?" And it's like, if you don't feel a dark tension underneath all this building, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. It's there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely brewing the whole time, and it started as funny, campy, like it would back in the 50s and 60s era TV shows.
Yep.
But you could still see it brewing, and then, no super spoilers or anything. But in this latest episode, to see that shot of Vision flying up into the air,
a challenging one.
Yeah, and it was like, oh no,
it's going down.
Yeah,
it's funny because just the simple thing of this motif they've picked, or Wanda's picked, if you will, of the sitcoms starting back in like the 50s to the 60s, the 70s, and now the 80s. It's interesting to watch, and they get it. The writers of the show get the sitcoms and how some of the things we look back at and laugh, but it was the sensibilities and how it grows. And then now you're actually showing in the 80s version the parents fighting, and you'd never have seen that before, maybe the 70s.
Yeah.
But it grows, and they grow with the genre, and it's just very smart writing. And
there's have you ever watched Film Theory on YouTube?
No, we've talked about it. You've kind of passed that on to me, but I haven't.
He's got one that you should go watch later. Everybody listening, you should definitely go watch it if you're interested in WandaVision. It's just him trying to figure out where it ends, and it's very interesting because he wrote it in the middle of. It takes him about 2 weeks, he said. So he's writing it after the first episode, and then while he's working on it, 2 and 3 come out. And it's really interesting. You should watch it. But one of the things that he brought up that I didn't even notice, that I thought was super cool detail, was in Age of Ultron, Wanda talks about waiting to die because there was a Stark bomb in their apartment building that didn't detonate when it hit.
Yeah.
And then in her head, right, in the commercials, the toaster was made by Stark Industries, and it does a similar eerie bomb ticking noise when it goes to the toaster to go off. Yeah. It sounds a lot like the Stark Industries bomb that hits an Iron Man right next to Tony.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
It's like, man, it wasn't just a weird, funny, haha mention of Stark Industries. Like, this is her subconscious dealing with the bomb that almost killed her.
And spoilers, if you don't want any spoilers from here on, just cut us off because I'm going to say a few things.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. The rest is spoiler ridden.
More magic and D&D coming, and maybe some more WandaVision, who knows. But those commercials are definitely terribly important. They didn't write anything in it. What's great is everything that happened, every piece of dialogue is written with care. Nothing is thrown in there, haphazardly. Everything means something. Now, a lot of times we watch things and we're like, oh, what does that mean? What's the secret meanings? And a lot of times there's not there, okay? And we're just making stuff up. But not for WandaVision. Everything has a meaning. Everything comes from somewhere. And these commercials go from Stark and the ticking time bomb toaster to Strucker, which that's where they were when we saw them the first time. They were being tested on with the mind gem, which is central. Anyway, and then Hydra was mentioned, the Hydra soak.
Yeah,
which
I thought that was funny.
Is also mentioned in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that phrase is actually used in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's so funny. He mentions that in the film theory episode, and I didn't watch a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I didn't know that. He plays the clip of Coulson talking about the mind-controlling soap that Hydra used.
It's a Hydra soak, he calls it, and it's exactly what it's called in the commercial. And what was the new commercial? Oh, it was cleaning up messes.
Yeah.
I'll need to look that up.
Yeah, it was one I didn't recognize either.
This is one I need to go back and look at because I'm sure it has. I mean, besides the fact of cleaning up messes and wiping away things that you don't want, I'm sure there's something real, something I'm forgetting.
So is the fact that Wanda was tested on with the Mind Stone how she's able to bring the Vision back? Because that's the one he had.
That's the question.
Because she's literally got his corpse in there with her.
Okay. This is real spoilery because I saw a picture, and you have to question whether Vision is actually back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is she just animating him out of her memory? But then again, if she does that, why is he bucking her so hard here?
I don't think so, because she can't. He even said it in this episode that he can't control him like she does everyone else. And
because he's a machine.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to stand up to her like he did in this episode if he was just like everyone else.
There was a West End Avengers series, part of its series, where they played this through, everything about Wanda's children, connection to Mephisto, and they actually had this episode where you see Vision laid out everywhere in pieces. And that's what it was when they showed her the video. I think it was last episode where she come busting in, and they had them everywhere. They had them dismantled. There was this West End Avengers series, and there was this series of comic books within that where Vision, basically the government or some organization, that basically dismantled him. He was supposed to be, I think he was supposed to be dead. I'll have to go back and look at the pretense on that, but basically they had him everywhere. And then you got this wonderful mirror of that with Wanda coming in, and they've got him on all these tables, and she's reassembled him. Without the Mind Stone, how can he exist? But she's got these connections. She busted the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
He busted the Mind Stone at one point.
Yeah.
And then has rolled it back. I don't know. There's some weird freaky connections here. I don't think she went and got the Mind Stone from anywhere unless somebody brought it to her. I don't see that happening because that's going to really throw things off.
Yeah, that would be.
Unless somebody, or there's some residue, a connection between the two of them that's connected to the Mind Stone because her powers were awakened by it. I won't say, a lot of times people say the Mind Stone gave her powers. No, I think it awakened something in her. It got in her head, and now somebody else is doing that, which is interesting. Maybe this individual has the the Mind Stone. I keep doing that. Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. That would be a little too powerful, but someone's definitely manipulating Wanda.
Yeah.
It's not all her, because that surprise at the end, she was totally shocked. She swore to Vision, it's not me. And so our theory and the Agents of Swords theory that it's all Wanda is not completely right.
No, somebody's definitely playing in the background. I think it's Mephisto, aka the devil. The devil, because Agnes keeps saying things like the devil's in the detail, or somebody said the devil's in the details, and she said that's not the only place he is.
Oh, And then her pet rabbit, Mr. Scratchy,
Yeah.
which is alluding to Old Scratch. And I keep looking for other things she says, and I need to go back and look at the other couple of times she mentions them once an episode.
Yeah.
And I would think, as smart as they are, that somewhere deep inside that, maybe I'm overthinking again, that there are allusions to the devil or that kind of thing in every episode that when she speaks.
One of the things Matt brings up in that video I was talking about is if you watch the trailer for Loki, there's a scene where they're in a church. The stained glass is a traditional looking stained glass picture of Jesus, except it has the devil's head on it. Red skinned horns, the whole thing, but it looks like Jesus in the stained glass. It's weird. Yeah. It's very strange.
You pepper everything with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely the front runner. A lot of the guys, I listen to New Rockstar, excuse me. And he's been on Mephisto since day one and before. And I don't blame him, because with Agnes, it just seems probable.
It almost seems too probable. That's the problem.
I know. It's like
they're playing.
I'm not sure how far Marvel, Disney, and the MCU want to go with the devil. I don't know. For some reason, I see them going maybe a different direction. I'll give a second runner-up because of what happened at the end of this last episode and what's coming with Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness that's coming. This is all part of that. That and Loki, everything is connected. Here I am, Charlie Day again.
Yeah, every time.
But it's all coming. It's all coming together. And the Spider-Man movie that's coming up, it's got all three of them in it. And I heard that William Dafoe was on the set the other day. It's just everything's crazy. But okay, back to what I was going to say. Considering that the character that showed up was the wrong one. Yeah, I've already said spoilers, so forget about it. The Petro that shows up, is the wrong Petro. Is the one from the X-Men movies.
Yeah,
she doesn't even recognize him. She looks at him like, "Who are you?" She's trying to remember.
He recognizes her.
Yes, and has to tell her, "Oh, you're gonna let your brother squeeze you to death," which is a strange thing.
Yeah.
If he's being manipulated, maybe this power is speaking through him.
Maybe.
But he's the wrong one. So, and this whole talk through the whole episode about death, everybody trying to push her, even the kids are trying to help to push her to try to bring that dog back to life.
Yeah.
And you can bring the dead back. And Agnes is real weird about it. She's like, you can do that?
Yeah.
Really, really strange, that whole conversation. But she makes it very clear that there are rules. Either she can't do it or she won't. It's crossing a barrier or that she shouldn't. And maybe this is what this is all about. Trying to open the barrier so you can bring back the dead through her. I'm not sure what that somebody, Mephisto or whatnot, would accomplish by that, but maybe that's what this is all about, because that whole episode was about death. Death is final. You know, in other words, she's basically she talked about the brother earlier. You know, my brother's going to stay dead. That dog's going to stay dead. And then he shows up at the door.
Yep.
And go ahead.
I wonder, because I mean, you had to have seen it on Twitter. Everybody making the allusions to House of M.
Oh, absolutely. They've been talking that from the very beginning, man.
Well, you know, that's when Olsen was cast as the Scarlet Witch. In one of the interviews, she was asked if she really liked the comics at all, and she said that her favorite comic book story of all time was the House of M. And I find it interesting that they're doing this. It's almost like it's going to be opposite land, and instead of, no more mutants, it's like no comma more mutants. And she's gonna bring all the mutants.
Everybody's a mutant.
Yeah.
This world gets a mutant. That world gets anyway.
So we've already, with that episode, merged the Fox universe into the Marvel universe. And now you've got the Spider-Man movie coming out that she is said to be in. And Doctor Strange.
Oh, I hadn't heard that Wanda was going to be in it.
Yeah, go look it up. There's
I will. Oh,
yeah.
I'll dig it up.
That those two are going to be in it, and then that movie is followed by Doctor Strange. So you've got
Yes,
WandaVision into Spider-Man, where they're talking about breaking all sorts of multiple realities.
And Loki comes out before that.
And Loki, and then into Doctor Strange, and it's just like, oh man, we are opening up the time keg of worms. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm gonna voice my one problem with Mephisto, besides Marvel and playing with the devil here. The end of that episode may have has everybody second guessing, because even Eric Voss from New Rockstars was talking about. He's been talking this all the time, Mephisto, and he said, "I know I've been Mephisto the whole time. I understand that, and I still am not saying it's not, but." That threw a monkey wrench in it, because why would he pull a different version in? If he's working illusions and stuff, why didn't he just make it look like her Petro? He's an alternate reality Petro from a different world, a multiverse type world.
My question wouldn't be why. My question would be how.
And
how would Mephisto go to a different reality and pull Petro?
Exactly. And that's why everyone's going, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Mephisto never worked in multiple dimensions. He's in our world. He's grounded in the main Marvel world, I'll say.
Yeah.
And for someone to bring a alternate Petro, it's almost like somebody who can do that is going, oh my God, we need Petro. Maybe he doesn't know the other Petro. Maybe he's not paying attention. I kind of doubt that. But he just grasps at straws and says, okay, we'll pull Petro out. There he is.
So are you going to like Kang?
Yes. That's my second best guess is Kang is involved. Yeah. He's been cast for the Ant-Man movie.
Yeah.
He's definitely part of what's going on. The new Avengers is coming.
Uh-huh.
You remember the storyline from that with Iron Lad?
Yeah.
I think it's connected. There's going to be more than one villain, so he's not the only operator, but I think he's probably the biggest. If he's mucking with time in the multiverse and he needs Wanda to do something for him, he's got to manipulate her to that point.
Man,
this is it.
Oh, why is this the one show that I can't just binge watch the whole thing? Disney's killing me.
I know. It's expertly done. It's like,
oh, it is, because now we're all sitting here talking about it for a week.
No, exactly.
Until the next one comes out. It's genius.
Welcome to my childhood and most of my living world. You grow up, well, you have to wait till next week.
Yeah.
That was life on TV, buddy.
I'm not that young. Most of my life was that too, until like the last 10 years.
That's true. You are correct.
But
the other two might not remember it so much, but you would, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But all right, we're gonna have to wrap it up. It's enough of the WandaVision rabbit hole, but it's definitely interesting, and we'll probably keep talking about it as it goes on. But
speaking of rabbit holes, we're of course doing Baldur's Gate on Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, we're gonna do Baldur's Gate on Tuesday, and we'll do Arena on Thursday. I may try to sneak in another one. I don't know, another stream at some point.
Just FYI for those listening, stay tuned to our social media and whatnot. We're working on a down the rabbit hole kind of thing with some old school lore. It's one of my loves, and I will.
Yeah,
it's one of the things missing from 5e, but it doesn't have to be missing because it's there. You just have to go look for it. So just keep watching on that. We'll do some lore stuff real soon, probably on stream even.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get some more streams up with not just me. Have BDC do some where you can do some of those lore dives, talk with people, help world building, character creation, all sorts of fun stuff.
I'll bring my whiteboard and a lot of red string, right?
Yeah, bring the whiteboard and the red string, and it'll all be all right. All right, we appreciate you guys taking the time to listen and download it. Make sure and follow us if you're listening on Spotify or whichever podcast provider you're on. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just put in the Magic Tavern, and we will come up. You can look for the little hut. It won't be hard to find.
We'll try to visit you a little more often in the future.
Yeah, no, now that we've finally got the setup all together for recording these online, they should be coming much more frequently. It's a lot of fun. Miss not doing it, so
We do it anyway, so why not do it on podcast?
So yeah, we sit and do this all the time anyway. We might as well learn to record in this way. But all right, I will talk to you later, BDC.
Hey, see ya.
Until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for stopping by. Why don't you give us a like, a share, and subscribe below. I'll see you soon.